Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So today's video, we're going to talk about how they will keep trying. And when I mean they, I'm talking about the United Nations and their agency, WHO, World Health Organization. Now, apparently their pandemic treaty was shot down. As I said before, 47 nations shot it down, including Russia, Brazil, China, and I forgot what other country. With that, WHO said, we'll go back to the drawing board. So they go back to the drawing board. They are going to fix it, if you will, and then re-present it in 2024. Interestingly enough, what was in the pandemic treaty was going to hold countries at fault for the release or the delayed information on whatever pandemic they have in that country or whatever outbreak they have in that country. Being that amendment was going to blame China for the current pandemic, if you will, China didn't want to be held responsible. So being that China didn't want to be held responsible, Russia agreed, Brazil agreed, and 47 other African nations, also including South Africa, agreed, no, we're not going to do this. Plus, other countries didn't like or want the authority of WHO being overreached. So they didn't want WHO to overreach in their countries. That being said, they're going back to the drawing board, but apparently what's being reported right now is that WHO is trying to come up with stronger control during a pandemic. But what I think they're going to do now, guys, is that they're going to leave countries being blamed. So they're not going to put that in the amendments. They're going to let countries who hold on to the information and data and not have them get in trouble. Now, obviously, we saw China hold on to that data. We saw China lie about what was going on in their country right before the shit hit the fan here. We're talking about COVID. Before COVID left their country, they were holding on to that information. And even then, afterwards, they seem to have lied about everything else after that, where it came from, the origins, the whole 9 yards. And when they let WHO in, WHO was in there maybe a week and then came out and go, it didn't come from there. It came from that wet market. So again, guys, WHO was on their side. So I was a little surprised that WHO was looking to blame China for this. A little surprised about that. But they're going to take that out and then they're going to present it again in 2024. They want more power, if you will, during a pandemic, which means, guys, anything they deemed a pandemic, they can overreach in that country. So just to say, the United States becomes ravaged with monkeypox, according to their pandemic treaty, they can set rules and standards and all kinds of shit that comes along with it, guys. We're talking about vaccine IDs, vaccines, masks. We're talking about the whole 9 yards. They could implement that unless, let's just say, the United States. Meanwhile, the rest of the world's not touched by it. So they have the operational authority to implement what they want, to whatever they want. But now they want more power, but they're going to leave the blame out, which again, I'm amazed. I'm like, where the fuck? And how does the United States even side with that? Well, look who's in office. We have Biden. Biden is a true nut job, and so is his Democratic army. They're sitting down and writing this shit out for WHO as well. They added, if I'm not mistaken, 14 amendments to the pandemic treaty. So I guess they're in on this as well. They're in on American sovereignty. Again, I told you before, our American sovereignty has been gone for a long time. But what little we have, they're looking to give the rest of that up to WHO. Now, interestingly enough, guys, around the world, other countries are saying that this is medical tyranny, that this is an overreach. So it's not just the American people or the Israeli people, it's people from around the world, even politicians. I'm like, yo, this is too much. Like, we get you guys want a pandemic treaty. I don't get it, but apparently they do. And we understand that you want to, I guess, hand out authority of what needs to be done. But then it should be in the form of a suggestion, not taking over. Anything the WHO does, guys, listen, we all know they're full of shit. We know that. But they should be stating, we are only going to act as a suggestion. We're only going to suggest what you guys should do. Instead, they want to have that power that they can implement. Now, according to the CDC, if this goes through, the pandemic treaty goes through, this is legally binding. I don't even know what the fuck that means. How does something become legally binding? How do you back that up? How do you back that legally binding contract? There's no way of, for example, if Texas, for example, wanted to tell the WHO to go fuck themselves, what is WHO going to do about it? Legally binding means nothing to us if there's no repercussions. And that's the problem. There seems to be no repercussions with this. So, I mean, that's a problem. That's a good thing. But who are they going to run that legally binding bullshit on? Us? Because we're not going to listen. We're going to be like, that doesn't mean anything to us. One of the government fucking simps here, whether it's New York or California, they're going to be like, oh, it's legally binding. I guess we should listen. Like, I don't know how that works. So a professor in Illinois, University of Illinois, is saying that this is another power grab. He thinks that Bill Gates, who the rest of the fucking entourage is in on this power grab. They're all sitting idly by. I'm pretty sure Bill Gates is whispering in the Director General of WHO's ear, right? Because all of a sudden he became a doctor overnight. He's whispering in his ear, telling him X, Y, and Z. Biden's administration's writing up more amendments. Something's wrong. But again, we know what it is. We know what's coming. We know why this is happening. But how can we get everyone else to wake up to be like, yo, they're trying to fucking implement whatever they want to implement. The food crisis, they're already saying it's the next world health crisis, which can turn into a pandemic, starvation. If they start doing shit like that, guys, you have to listen to the words they're using. They're trying to turn the food crisis that we are currently in and will get worse into a world health crisis, which can turn into a pandemic, which could lead WHO into what? In charge of whatever the fuck they're trying to get in charge of in that specific situation. Listen to the wordage. The wordage, not a word. Listen to the verbiage. When you listen to what they're saying and how they're trying to change definitions around, guys, we know where this is going. We know where this is headed, rather. Sorry. Other than that, guys, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.